Hey friends, welcome back to the Basswood carving. Alright, it's been a minute, but we're back. And actually this is the second time I've tried to record this, because the first video I did, found out there was a problem with my memory card and it wouldn't read the files. So yeah, that's why you see one of these. Okay, so this is what we're going to carve today. We're going to carve this little chicken and a little chick out of an eggshell. Okay, and yeah, it was a fun little carve. I did this carving with my carving club. I taught the class on it, and thought it turned out pretty good. And actually got these basswood eggs at the carving show, the Miami Valley Carving Show, and the president of our carving club wanted me to teach a class on carving these eggs. So yeah, I thought I'd do that, and did one, and found out that the card wasn't working, which was this one. So I went on and finished it, and haven't painted them yet, but we'll paint them. I'll paint them in the end, and you can see the finished pieces at the end. But I thought we'd get started carving this thing. All right, so got an egg here. It's just a basswood egg. Now, I bought some at Hobby Lobby, and yeah. Whoop. Hit the other camera there. I actually got a backup camera just in case. I'm recording on two different cameras. I'll maybe give you a couple different angles. But anyway, got some basswood eggs. Or at least I thought they were basswood. This one is basswood, I think, because I carved this big guy out of it. And it seemed to be basswood because it carved like basswood. This one, I think, was maple. I carved this little guy out of it. It was the very first one I did, and man, that stuff was hard as a rock. So I'm not sure this is basswood here. I think this is more of a maple. It just didn't carve like basswood. This one is basswood. I believe this came from Statlander. Is where we got the eggs at the carving show. They were the ones that had set up. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to break off our egg into 4 quadrants. So we're just going to mark it off into 4 different quadrants, just like I got here. Just kind of find your center, just draw a little line. Now, if you don't have a basswood egg, you can go ahead and just carve a block of basswood. Let me grab my ruler and give you the size of it. So this egg is 3 inches. I guess they call it 3 inches. And so you could get by with a 3-inch piece of wood and probably 2 inches wide. So 3 by 2 should work. And you could just carve it down to the shape of the egg if you want. So we're going to come down and we're going to draw probably about a 1/2 inch down. And I really didn't measure them out when I did them on the other one. So we're just going to go about a 1/2 inch from top and bottom. And we're just going to go around. And this don't even have to be perfect because of the way that you're going to carve out the eggshell parts. And then you just fit the chicken in between is what I did. It was pretty easy. So just go around, and after you got your egg broken down in quadrants, go on around here and just draw you a line about a 1/2 inch down. And if it varies a little bit, that's okay, because you're still going to have the eggshell broken sections. All right, so then come up here and do the same thing. Just do two little segments here, a top and a bottom. So yeah, it feels good to be back. Like I said, I recorded this thing once, and when I went to edit the video, I found out that there was something wrong with my card, and the files were there, but I just couldn't get them off the card for some reason. All right, now I'm going to come below that, actually to the top a little bit, and I'm going to draw a second line around it. And this is going to be kind of my points of where my egg points will be. And like I said, you don't have to be perfect with it. You can vary it a little bit. Kind of sloppy lines. I got a burn on my finger, my 2 fingers here. That's why they're taped up, and it kind of hurts to hold something, but I wanted to get this video out. So we'll come down here and do the same thing on the bottom. This one I'm going to go a little lower. I'll go on the bottom of that line right there. And this just kind of give me some kind of guideline so I don't have to go too far up. But the cool thing is you can vary these and make these however you want. I did 2 different versions. I did one without the eggshell on his head. And when I taught the class, I gave them the option to do however they wanted. To do without the eggshell on top of the head or with the eggshell on top of the head. And we did a couple different eyes. On this bigger one, I did a little cartoon eyes. And you'll see that when I paint it up. So that one we just did. We're going to paint the eyes in, and this one was closed eyes, kind of like a baby chick is when it's first born, first hatched. And let's see. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here and we're going to start drawing little V's all the way around. And you can come down and just come up to your second line, come down. And just vary it. It doesn't have to be, nothing has to be perfect. So once we start carving it, we'll probably adjust them a little bit anyway. But this just kind of gives you a guideline. Okay, we'll do something like that all the way around. And we'll do the same thing at the bottom. We'll come down. And I just use the 2 lines so I get a little variation. And I know this is probably sloppy looking on camera. But like I said, this just kind of give me a guideline of some kind of a barrier so I don't go too far in to where my little chicken head is. And actually the more variation you can have to it, the better. Okay, there we go. Alright, so just create those little V's all the way around, or W's, whatever. Mix them up a little bit so they're not the same. Alright, now we're just going to do our stop cuts. And first we're just going to come around and we're going to carve in on our lines. Just to get them marked in there. I appreciate everybody sticking around. I know I haven't put a video out since the beginning, actually since Christmas, except for the carving chatters I pre-recorded, and the carving show I went to. But I appreciate all you guys' support. I appreciate all the subscribers. I keep getting new subscribers, so I really appreciate it. But I'm back. I'm going to try to get as many videos out for you as I can. I do have another couple businesses that I run, and both of those have been really busy. My lure business that I started as a hobby has turned out to be something more than I expected. So I'm really happy about that. It turned out to be a fun hobby. Actually turned into a business that now is pretty busy. So if you haven't went over and checked out my Krusty Cranks channel, please go check it out if you like to watch airbrush painting. And I'm actually doing some carving over there. I'm getting ready to put up a carving video I did over for that. A fishing lure carving video. So they'll have some carving over there too. And if you want to learn how to airbrush or just like to watch me make some beautiful lures, go over there to Krusty Cranks TV, and I'll put a link in the description. Actually, before Christmas, I had pre-recorded some videos, and luckily I had some videos to put up on there for a while. But I'm almost to 1,000 subscribers over there, so if you want to help me out, jump on over there and check that channel out. It's a fun thing. Started airbrushing just for fun, and everybody started wanting to buy my lures, so I took and started me a little Facebook store. So if you like to fish, go check that out. And I've actually been getting orders almost every day. I get orders. It's kind of crazy of how it's grown into a business. Like I said, it just started out as a hobby, but I really want to do some cool carving over there too, because I kind of like carving and making fishing lures. Alright, so we got that all marked in. Alright, again, don't worry about the lines, just go at it. And now we're going to come in and we're just going to get started taking out some of this. We'll start at the bottom. I'm just going to start cutting this in a little bit. And don't even worry about it being clean or anything like that. All you want to do is just come in here and get this eggshell cleaned out. Like I said, this is basswood, but it was kind of hard too for basswood, these eggs. And I think what it is mostly the way the grain runs on them, the way they're cut out. I guess they're cut out on a lathe, but you don't even have to be real clean with it yet, because we're gonna come back and clean everything up. I just basically want to get it laid out on the inside. And I apologize for the dogs today. Got all the dogs here today, so they've been on one. They know it's nice outside. So girls in the neighborhood are out riding their bikes, so they've been going crazy all day long. That's one way to get it out, is to start on the one side and try to run along this side and take it up to this stop cut. And like I said, if it chips a little bit on you, don't worry about it, because we're going to go back and we're going to take that down a little bit anyway, just to take that factory edge off. And once you start putting the chicken fur on there, you can actually clean a lot of that up. And we'll go back and make it deeper too when we carve the chicken down. Again, I'm working with a camera in front of me, so makes it a little tough. Alright, so just go around and cut your bottom. Now we're going to come back and do the same thing at the top. Just going to cut our eggshell in at the top. I think Doug just did a video too of a rabbit in the eggshell, which was kind of cool. But where I come from, rabbits don't come from eggs. But it was cool. He's very creative. His ideas, it's pretty cool. Again, I apologize for being gone so long. Got real sick after Christmas for about 3 weeks. Almost got myself there. Got real sick after Christmas for about 3 weeks. Almost got my burn. And yeah, it wasn't fun. Then I got really busy with work, because usually at the beginning of the year is our busy season with my other job. And ended up, since the first of the year, I've ended up losing 6 people really close to me. And my aunt passed away of the virus. Alright, so I think we got our top and we got our bottom eggshell. Alright. So we're going to decide where our nose and face is going to be. And that's why I had you draw this off into 4 quadrants, because this is where your wings are going to be on this side, and then your face and nose on the other one. So, and put my line back in a little bit. Pencil, almost out of lead, I think. So just go back in here and pencil your line back in if you lose it. It just helps you determine where the wings are going to be in the face. So let's determine. I think I wanted this to be the face right here. So we're going to draw a little triangle. For the nose. Oh, I didn't get that very straight. Okay, that's a little better. And start the nose bigger than you think you want it to be. It's always better to start them bigger, than that way you don't break down and have this little tiny nose that you're trying to fix. And it gives you more to clean up if you need to clean it up. Okay, so that's where we're going to start with the nose. Okay, I apologize. I had to take a break for a second and get the UPS guy was making a delivery. So while I was away for a second, I thought I'd wet these down so I can show you a little better on camera what we're going to do. I think we're going to do this one here. But pretty much the same techniques. I just did a little different on the wings. Something a little different on these. On these, I just did everything a little bigger V-tool, and a little more different detail on the wings too. So, all right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to lay out where we're going to put the wings. Okay, so we will do that. We'll cut the wings in, and then we'll start taking the body down, and then we need to figure out where the neckline is going to be. Okay, so they got couple different little necklines right there. It's more like their heads just sitting down on their body, which is what they do a lot once they hatched out of their eggs. You can see them, they'll just sit there and drop their heads down in. So that's how I kind of laid this one out. But okay, so for the wings, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of draw these in, and you can just freehand yours in. That's all I did, was I just made them come down and look like they're tucked inside the egg shell. So we're just going to come over here. I put them a little more front center so you could see them a little better. So you can kind of use this right here as your line, and then just kind of make it a little bigger on the front side. And we'll just pencil this in for a second till we get them both in there. Just see if we can kind of make them look the same. It's fairly easy. You don't really have to be too technical about it. You just kind of want them to look the same. A little more narrow behind the body. This one looks a little bigger. So let's bring this to the front a little more, and just kind of look down, see if it looks even to you on both sides. This one don't look too bad. That's really all I did. Okay, two things. You can either take a V-tool or you can just cut it in. I think I'll do the V-tool just so I can change it a little bit. Let me get my V-tool here. Okay, and we're just going to mark it in with our V-tool a little bit. That way, if we don't like it, we can carve it down a little bit and move it. And I kind of didn't completely round it into itself. I I just kind of made it end and the shoulders. Give it a little shoulders. And this is where you got to check your grain, because this thing being round, it's kind of got a couple different grain patterns going. No plan really, just kind of pencil it in on your own and see what you like. Take it all the way down to your shell. It's kind of the nice thing about using a V-tool when you're just playing around and laying things out, because you can always carve that down. If you just take a big old knife cut right away, then it's there. That's where it's going to be. So I'll take this one down just a little bit more on the side. All right, we're going to go with that. We can always play around with it. So I went high up over his shoulders where his kind of little shoulders would be. But as I come down and I start shaping the neck and head, I'm going to take all this down some anyway. So at least I can kind of tell exactly where I want to put the neckline. Okay, so come down here about midway, a little bit lower than the top of the beak. Okay, then back here I can run it around like so. So it's a little lower on the back side on that one. This one's a little higher. Here we go. Let's bring this one up just a little bit. Okay, so it's kind of got a little bit of a curve to the back, and we can make a join in under the wings. All right. So now we'll start with the back one and cut the back one in just a little bit, just to lay everything out. And up here, just go over to the wing. All right. Cool. Okay, so let's take the head down some. And we're just going to cut in on right here. Right here. Up to the wing. Right. I would just go around and take this down some. This piece is pretty soft. Okay, let's go ahead and take across the wing. Okay, let's cut in our nose. Man, piece is chipping away up there. It's almost too soft. Okay. Let's take this front side in a little bit away from the nose. Okay, let's get back to these wings a little bit now. We kind of got that shoulders and top taken down a little bit. Let's come back in here. Okay, we'll clean all this up in a minute. Once we get to kind of the body shape down. I knew I was going to have to take a bunch off. It's because I took a bunch off of these. And then, because I still got to take some of the shell off too. So, it's just kind of going in town there at it for a minute. Okay, let's take this back down a bunch. Trying not to chip the tops of them off. Chip them up a little bit. It's this burn I got on my fingers a little, making it a little hard to hold on to things. I almost thought about not doing the video just because it was stinging a little bit, and so if it looks like I'm struggling a little bit, I am. You don't realize how much you use your thumb and that index finger for doing different things, even if it's on my left hand. It's just like every time my blister's right there, right on the pad, right here, and right here on the side of my thumb. So every time I push on this piece of wood, I can feel it in my blister. But we'll get it. It'll look good when we get it. We're basically just trying to get this thing down sized a little bit. Probably looking a little sloppy at this point, but okay, so kind of we're here at this point. We got it shaped down a little bit. We still kind of know where the neckline is. We're going to go back with the gouge and take that down a little bit. And I'll go back with my little knife and clean it up. It's crazy, but I kind of enjoy cleaning it up. I kind of like going back. I guess I like doing the detail work, so I can sit and spend hours just cleaning stuff up and going around it and getting little fuzzies out and all that. I don't know. It may sound kind of weird, but I kind of enjoy that part of the carving, is the detail in it and putting in the textures and things like that. Kind of doing all the finish work on it. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't carve, like, try to cut out as less pieces as possible and be done with it. I mean, I kind of like to enjoy the carving, and I think part of that is going back and like cleaning it all up and taking your time and putting the little finishing touches on it, so you end up getting something like that that's kind of a fine finished piece, you know. I think a lot of times new carvers get hung up on the fuzzies and you know, little chips and things like that happen. But to me, it's just kind of like part of the carving. You're taking out wood, you know, and whether you take out big chunks at once or if you just like to sit there and shave away at it, you know, it's still carving. And everybody has their little bit of different style, you know, that makes it, I don't know, makes it fun to you, I think. And like I said, I like, you know, it don't bother me that there's, you know, some fuzzies in there or it's kind of rough looking right there, because I can always go back and clean it up. I can always go back and clean it up. I can fix things. And like I said, that's kind of the part of it that I enjoy, just going around, even just cleaning up the eggshell and doing the rounding off a little more here, a little more there. So a lot of times I just like to get most of the wood out of the way so I can start doing that kind of stuff. And that might not be you. You might like to just make less cuts and be done with a piece. But I think there's something to be said for being able to spend time on it and really make it you know, your original. Probably my funnest knife is this little knife right here that I enjoy the most, because I just like to use this little dinkle and just go around and just clean stuff up and take a little bit of edges off. And you know, that's just the way I carve. It's the way I like to carve. And you know, everybody's a little different, but I think sometimes, you know, for me, it's mostly trying to keep a shorter video for you so you can see me carve it. And then so a lot of times the little bit of detail work that I do, I like to spend on just sitting there at my chair and listening to the, you know, maybe another carver doing a carving, or somebody painting a lure or carving a lure or something like that. And then just working on that piece while my mind is not all hung up on everything. So go back and say, well, I need to take a little more off right here, make it a little deeper, you know, right here, and just come back in with the knife and just take my time and do really fine little details on it, even if I only take a little shave off. Okay, so here we are at this point. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit and just go around and get all my little edges cleaned up and all that. And I won't bore you with all that, but I'll come back. And so first, what we'll do first is come in here and let's take all this factory looking, I always call it factory surface, because that's where it was milled or cut or whatever. But let's go back in here, because we're not going to be able to take that down a little more if we want. And let's just go ahead and take this factory edge shave off and see what happens. It chips off on you, but it's no big deal. We just go back in here, cut that down a little bit more. And clean it right up. Get my little So we'll just go around, get all this factory surface off, and clean it up. Okay, I think we're ready to do some more work on this guy as far as the details. And let's put the wings in. Okay, so a couple different ways we can do the wings. I'll show you these guys. Oh, did you notice they're painted? Okay, well, we're going to do a little wing flap, and then we're going to curve the wings back towards the back, just like that. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is, and I'll show you another different way you can do it when we get this done, but let's do it this way. All right, so we're going to come down a little bit over the shoulder, down past the top of the wing there, and we're just going to put a little a little bit of a curve right here, and do that on both sides. And we're just eyeballing this in there, so, you know, take a look at it and see what you think. This one looks a little high, so let me take this down just a little bit more. That looks a little better. All right, and you always got an eraser. All you got to do is just erase that line off of there. Just like so. Okay, let's take these sharp edges down a little bit here. Just take that corner off of there. I did spend a little time cleaning this up while I was waiting on the chicks to dry, because I wanted you to see the painted versions before we finished up. So just go back and take your hard edge off right here before you do this. All right, so we got the curved edge. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put, let's see, I think I did 4 little flaps on here. So we'll start with the biggest one, and we're going to come down and make it curve to the contour of your wing right there. Okay, so just bring it down and curve it all the way down to the bottom. Then go to the next one. Same thing. Curve it. Then the next one. I think we'll have 4. Yeah. Let's bring this one over just a little bit more. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing over here. One, 2, and 3. Okay. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut in a stop cut right across the top of this one. So just follow it along your line. Make a stop cut. You can go all the way off the edge. Same thing over here. A little stop cut. All right. Now we're going to come down. Actually, let's go ahead and cut that up just a little bit towards your cut. Because you want that to look like it's standing up a little bit. So just go around and shave a little bit off right here. Same thing over here. Shave that up a little bit. It don't have to be a lot. You just want it to be a little higher than the rest of the wing. Let's see what this one here looks like. Take this one down just a little bit right there. Okay, now put your line back in there. Okay. Let's take this one down just a little bit. Put my little line back in there. All right, now we're going to just go back in here and we're going to separate these wing flaps. So just go in there and take a little sliver out. Same thing right here. Next one, same thing. Okay, so we got three little separated wings right there. Or feathers, I should say. Okay, let's go over here and do the same thing on the other side. You could also use a V-tool if you wanted to. And we get all three of these in. And we'll come back and take our little pencil marks off. All right. Next, we're going to put our neck back in because we kind of carved that off of there, but no big deal. way high over here. All right. Next, we're going to take our round gouge, and if you don't have a round gouge, you can just do a stop cut. You can just do a stop cut and make a V cut out of it. I'll show you kind of both ways. All right, so we're going to take this round gouge here, U gouge, and we're just going to take a little bit of a shape out of it. Trying to get it looking both the same on side and nose. That's still a little high. All right, now we're just going to go back and roll that top part of it off. And make that head a little smaller. Which we already did that, but we just need to kind of separate the neck and the shoulders. Okay, see how we got a little raised area there? Now another way you can do it, I'm going to use this knife because it's got a straight edge on it, is if you don't have a round gouge, or you could use a V-tool, but take your knife and just kind of roll it. Go all the way around and just roll it right at your line where you make your stop, and just roll it. Roll the edge of your knife, and you'll get that little bit of a curve right there. Just depends on what you want to do with it. If you want it to be the same size, you don't even have to really put the neck in. You can kind of blend it down in there and clean this up just a little bit. Right here's a spot right there that wants to fuzz away, so I gotta be careful. I don't want to be this far and mess it up. But you can take and just roll your tip like this and just take a little chip out of there. You can also, whoops, sorry, didn't mean to hit the camera. Right here, I just did a straight in cut and then come down to it and then just round off the edge a little bit. Okay, see how we still kind of got an edge right there? So you can just come back in and don't take it back down. Right here at the top of the wing you can, just to blend it in, back in. But just go around and just kind of put your knife flat and just take off that little bit of a high edge right there. But you'll still have that little bit of a neck going in there. Okay. And you're going to put the texture in there, so really it's not going to show up too bad. Even if you went too deep and make it a lot smaller, you can still blend it back together with your texture. Okay, so he's got a few little shoulders now. I'll fix that when we do some texturing. All right. So next we need to do the eyes. Okay, so on these eyes, I just did a little V cut in there. On these, I'll show you what we do here. So kind of draw my eyes in. This little part of the nose looks a little higher right here. Take that down just a little bit. And you can have a ledge on your nose. So if you want, just come back in here, cut you a little ledge, and come down to it. Just round those little corners off a little bit. Okay. Now, go from the corner of your nose and put a diagonal line, corner of the nose. Put a diagonal line, kind of try to make sure they're, a lot of times I like to turn it this way so I can see that they're not going the same angle, which doesn't mean anything. I mean, they don't have to be the same angle. They could be a little different. Could be more like a sleepy eye. But if you look at it this way, sometimes it makes it easier to get the same angle. when you look at these, sometimes it makes it look like it's really off center. So I'm going by the nose, and you see that it's a little lower. All right, and then I'm going to take my V tool and put a little spot in there. Same way here. Little spot in there. Like so. I'll take my knife. Put a stop cut. A stop cut. Now I'm just going to cut this away a little bit. Now another thing you could do if you got the round gouges, take a little smaller one, like right here, that's about the width of your eye. Just cut up to it. Okay, same thing over here. I already got my stop cut in there. Let's go a little deeper. Take your gouge. See, it's about the width of my eye that I want, and just cut up into it. And just look at them, see if they're the same. Okay, there we go. See how that one is? It's kind of curved up in there, and then I'll put my dot like right up to the edge of that flat spot right there. All right, we're close. All right, and I'm going to show you how I put show you how I put the details in. You guys have seen me do this before, but I'm going to show you the wings a little bit different. It's just a different tool. All right, so get your little, if you want to do little fine fur, get you a little gouge or a little V tool, a little tiny V, and that's going to be your fur. And find out which way your grain's going, and just start putting little fur in there. Mix it up. Now this is where you can kind of clean up some of the stuff, because we know we're going to have fur all the way around this. That's why I wasn't real particular about being real clean, because I knew I was coming back in here with this. All right, so we're going to do the fur, because the baby chick has fur, not feathers yet. Only feathers is on its wings. See, so you're going to go along, and you can give it a little motion by going towards the wings and down, just mixing it up a little bit, make it curve a little bit, and just doing little short strokes, and take little slivers out of there. And this is the part I was talking about, liking to spend time on my details. So like all my videos, I'm going to start trying to put tips up for you guys. And over here I got a post-it note. I think you can see that. Let me make sure you can see it. And it says, spend more time with your detail carvings. So what I mean by that is, take your time instead of hurrying and trying to get hurried up and get it painted. You know, spend some time with it. Spend some time with your carving. Especially, you know, if you're a beginner. Because a lot of times, I know for myself, I was always like, man, I wish I would have did this. Because once you paint it, it's done. And I'm probably have the most unpainted carvings because sometimes I'll just pick one up and get a new creative idea to finish on it, to detail on it. So don't worry about hurrying up and getting it painted. You know, for me, I was all wanting to get these chicks painted so before the end of the video you could kind of see the paintings. But really, I spent some time on those little guys, just sitting there looking at them, putting detail on, cleaning stuff off. The fur, when you're doing the fur, that's almost the last step when you're putting your fur and patterns and things like that on there. So make sure, you know, you go around it, clean it all up real good where it needs to be. Get it to your liking, because kind of the same thing. Once you put the fur on there, you're pretty much done. But I mean, you can go back and carve it off and fix it, but you know, just spend time with your carvings. That's gonna be my tip for this video, is just to spend time and relax and don't worry about trying to get it done right away. Oh my gosh, I gotta get this done. Just spend some time with it. Okay, so that's how we got the fur in. So I'm not going to bore you with going around and doing all that fur work. So on the wing, here's what I did on the wing. Is I used a little U-gouge. It's a small one. And on the top part of the wing, I made all my chips going this way, back and forth across. On the bottom of it, I made all my little chips going down with the contour of the wing feather. Okay, so what I mean by that is over here I just went like this. Just took this little thing and just took little dimples out of it. And you push it in and pop it up. So you're just kind of like taking little chips. Not too long, just little short ones. There, you can maybe see it a little better that way. And figure out your grain, because you might need to turn it around and do it the other side, going towards the other direction. Like I just did, just turn it around. And just get little chips like that, and you'll see it'll gradually start coming together. And if you want them a little deeper, just go back and hit it again and do it in different spots. And before you know it, you'll have a nice little detail on there. Okay, now going down the feathers, did the same technique. I just went this way with it. This little guy's just chipping right out of there. Okay. But I kind of followed the contour of the wing. Then move over to the next one. Same thing. Probably help if I put the handle on. Be a little more comfortable in my hand. little better control over it. Okay, there again, I'm not going to bore you with watching all this, but you'll see a picture of it in the community post and in the thumbnail. But I'll put it in the community post so you can go back and see the finished piece once I get it all done and painted. Because I've already got these painted, and I'm not going to paint another one until I'm completely done with it. So I'll probably spend a little detail time on it, cleaning it up and getting it ready for paint. But I think that's pretty much it. You can see how it's it looks a little rough, but you take your brush, especially on the hair areas, fur areas, brush that all out. And now you got the little texture, so once you paint it, it'll look cool. This one's just chipping away. You can even go to your edges a little bit and kind of chip it off the edge a little bit. Won't hurt a thing. Go right up to the edge. Clean it up if you have to. And there you go. See how this side does. There we go. This side's a little better. The grain's a little different. Basically just make little dimples like that. Just another texturing technique. And I'm gonna do a video on these tools that I'm using. But here you go. Same thing over here. Just take little chips, but try to go so it looks like it has some motion, some fluidity, I guess you would say. And just vary them and deepen them. Okay. Then on the eyes, again, just paint the eye in there. I used my little burnisher tool and touched a little dot in there. But for painting, you know, you can do what you want. Since it's Easter, you can have colored eggs. There's actually blue eggs. There's green eggs too. This one I did. Oh, you can see a little crack in there. Just did that with the V tool. Just take your V tool. Just take your V tool and put a little crack in there up to one of your spots. Just take your knife and clean it out. Make it a little deeper if you want. There's your crack. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will get, like I said, I'll get this all finished up with texture, paint it. I'll put pictures of all these up in the community post so you can decide how you want to do yours, or you can do them all. Like I said, on this one I painted, we get brown eggs, light brown eggs, and they got little brown dark spots on them. So that's how I did that one, kind of did that one. Here you can kind of really see the texture technique in this wing pretty good. How it dimples. Okay, on this one I just did like almost like cross hatching. So I just cut in, did a little V cut, little V cut, little V cut, little V cut, and I kind of angled them so that they look like feathers, the angle of the feathers. There, that one's a good one. So cross hatching, almost what you call it. And then here I did the little dimples. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I appreciate your support and staying with me over my little tough time there that I've been out. But I'm back. I'm going to do more videos again this year. I'm going to try to stay busy on the carving. I appreciate you guys. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please hit subscribe. Ring that notification bell so you get notified when I put up the next video. And if you don't mind, hit that like button for this video so we can get the algorithms out there and hopefully get me up there a little higher on subscriptions. But I appreciate it, guys. Hope you guys have a happy Easter, and we'll see you on the next video.